Hello.
Hi, sir.
And no, do you already had the idea of how to do it before the class itself?
No,
Hello.
sir, I have some idea, so that will be recorded.
Okay, okay. Yeah, just can you show me the code? I just want to look at it.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, however you have done, that is fine. That's not a thing. The matter is that you know it or understand it is what we seek for.
It is visible. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, yes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, can you show the JS? No, no. Can you show the JS script? Where is the script written? Hello.
Sir, I
Okay, we
use
have
arm click
written.
method.
Okay. Okay, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that's great.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And okay, can you tell me what the eval does? Hello. Hello. Shiv Shankari, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can you tell me what the eval does?
Sir, I cannot hear you.
Okay. Can you tell me what the eval does? EVAL. It's a function. So what does it do? Okay. That's fine.
Sir, that evaluates the expression, sir.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that is correct. But it is actually not recommended to use that function. But I think in your case, yeah, it is. Yeah, not not much of a problem, but it's preferred not to use that. Okay, but still, yeah, that's great. Good work. I'm not sure if anyone else is ready to show. Let's jump right into the session. I hope my screen is visible. Yeah, just left off in the same as last week. Yeah. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about a few things. Firstly, what is a loop and where you can use it. So I'll be talking about objects first and then loops. So only then I will be able to showcase actual purpose of loops. So yeah, let's talk about objects now. So previously in our class we saw that we had data types. So there are various data types which we call as primitive types. Name, to name them, it is string, number, uh, we had boolean and big int. So these four are primitive types. In this, yeah, string is just a sequence of characters. It could be any characters, and number is just a regular whole number, or it could be a decimal number. And we have boolean, which is going to hold either a true or false. And in big int, it's going to be able to store a huge number, so which is normally uh, not accepted by the regular number type. So that's where the big int comes in. So big int is actually much more used in languages such as Java, because they have too much restrictions towards the size which a variable can hold. But in JS it is different. uh, the actual number type is itself can hold a big number. So uh, big int is like, I haven't used it anytime because it was not needed. I think it would be same case for, yeah, sorry for the background noise. Yeah, let's talk about objects. So I just gave a small idea of what an object is in our previous sessions. So object is just a key value pair, given that the key is always a string type, so which is a sequence of characters, and the value is always the value is can be of any type. It does not restrict to a string or a number. It can be of any primitive types, as well as it could be also a object. So yeah, here let me comment all of this. I'm saving this. Yeah, I'm going to create a new script for object. Yes, and removing everything, saving it, importing the script here. Scripts and objects.th. So, yeah, we have. So there are multiple ways to create an object. Let's look into the first and foremost basic way. uh, Objects are going to be holded by yeah, a variable. Let me create a new variable. This variable I would say as, let's call it as calculator. So here, yeah, this these two curly braces are going to refer to an object. So usually you might have seen the curly braces after functions. This is how you would write a function. After the keyword function, you will have a name. This is the function name. Yeah, this is a function name, and after this you will have a curly brace. So these curly braces are used for defining a block. So this block is the chunk of code which belongs to this function. So when you call this function, the block of code under these curly braces are going to execute. So that's the basic idea. So in but similar way, these are objects. So when it is not preceded by anything such as function or if clause, it is called as an object. So objects are basically a key value pairs. For example, I can create an operator here. So let me call it as operator, sorry, operand here. Operand one, which like this, and operand two. So now what we have done is we have created a object. So anything inside the curly braces, In this, we have declared a property, so also called referred as attributes. So in this object, we have added a property here called operand one, and you can see when I hover on this, you will be able to see its type, what value is given to the. Maybe if I change it to string, you will be able to see that it says string. Yeah. So these are just things which VS Code allows you to see. Probably any of the IDEs that you use would have this feature. So in this, we have two operands, and it actually belongs to this calculator variable. So this calculator variable is holding an object. So you can refer to this operand one by using the calculator. So how you can do that is write a console log statement inside which I will type operand one dot sorry calculator dot operand one, and you can see that it actually the code editor actually helps me to pick up the properties inside this object. So it shows what are the properties available inside that object, and I can just press enter to take that property. I'm saving it. So once I save it, it formatted the code. When I go back to the browser, okay, open it up here. I hope you can see. I'm opening the developer tools. Non-inspect, going to console. Yeah, you can see that we got the value of 10 here. So that is by using what we are doing here. So we are referring to this object and picking up a property that belongs to this object. So I can directly print that object, and you will be able to see. Yeah, we'll get the same thing there. But there is also much more underneath that. We will be discussing about this in the future. As of now, you can see that we have two properties. One is operand one and operand two, and we have a variable called sorry, we have a value called 10 and 20. So that's what we have, and this is how you would refer to a property inside an object. There is also one other way. This is called as a dot notation, and yeah, here you can also refer to it using a string. So this is like how you might have seen yeah. This is also another way in which you can refer to the property inside this object. So I can type into here. It's going to pick up that value, and as we saw in our last class, anything that does not is not defined or is not passed, it's going to contain the value of undefined. So that's how JS works. In this case, if I pass, we can see that we have only two properties here. But if I give something such as operand 3 and save it, you'll be able to see that you'll be getting the value of undefined. So that's how it works. When you pass in a property which does not exist, it's going to say as undefined. So yeah, and you can see we have these two ways in which we can grab this value, but it's people might ask why what is the need of the second way. It's because the property names are not always regular. Yeah, property names property names can be like this. This is for an example. Usually you won't be able to run into something like this. Yeah, so you can see that the property name which we have given is 5 percentage 3, but So we saw that we have certain rules in which you should declare a variable. So that is in terms of a variable, but here we are trying to actually use a variable and refer to its property. What it does is, previously when I tried to autocomplete it, where I typed dot and it said what are the variables inside it. When I pressed property, sorry, operand one, it actually added that variable after dot. But in this case, it adds as percent. Yeah, it adds it in the square brackets inside the quotes. So this is because we cannot directly write dot 5 percentage p, because this is not a valid syntax. This is not how a variable would look like. So in that case, we would be using the string notation, where yeah, we will pass in the property name as a string inside the square braces, square brackets, and you will be able to get the value in there. So yeah, that's the difference. So you'll need this at times. Yeah, you'll probably have options to dynamically refer to a value. Let's say here you have a variable property name equal to operand one. So you have, it seems that you have to dynamically refer to a property inside this calculator, but you cannot do that here because it is actually a dot notation. You cannot uh, dynamically add anything here. It has to be directly given after this dot. But in case of a string notation, you can actually type it as property name. So this will refer this variable called as property name, and instead of property name, it will replace that specific value here, so that we will be able to get the required value from that object. So this is actually a variable which has a value of operand one, and I'm going to save it. Yeah, you can see that it works. So we are saving the variable in here and trying to access it using that variable, trying to access this property using that variable. Now, if I change it to operand 2, it's going to work. Yeah. So that is one advantage of using the string notation. But probably your code editors will suggest you to use dot notation, which is like most straightforward things, and also try to keep the naming proper. So this name does not give anything, does not give out any meaning. So it's always better to use a proper name. Yeah, that's about objects. So this is one of the basic ways in which you can create an object. Uh, let's talk about the other ways later. I think this understanding is necessary for now. Let's move into arrays. So I also remember talking about arrays in our previous sessions. So arrays are just collection of values. Here we can see it's a key value property. Yes, sir. Yeah, it's a key value mapping. In arrays, it's just a collection of values. So you can have multiple values listed inside an array. You'll be able to access those values by using something called as an index. So the way in which you will create an array is by using equal to and square brackets. Here we saw that how we create an object is by using curly braces, but the array can be created using a square bracket. Here, yeah, in this, yeah, array is used for holding multiple values. Let's say we can have multiple numbers here. Yeah, we can have multiple numbers here. So it is basically going to contain all those numbers, and you will be able to refer those numbers by using something called as the index. Here you will use the same notation as how you did for the objects, not the properties, but yeah, here you will be use the string notation. uh, you can provide the values. Probably it's going to be a integer, but even if you provide it as a string, it's going to pass that thing. So here if I put 0 array, this is like set as array of 0. So so I'm picking up the first value. 0 refers to the first value, which is because this array has a index, so which starts from 0. The first element is 0, second element is 1, and third element is 2, and fourth element is 3. So since it starts from 1, each element has an index which is less than its position. So it starts from 0. So if I put array of 0 and save it, you'll be able to see that it says 12 because it's the first value. Even if I put this in quotes, yeah, it's still going to work. It does not have any problem with that. You cannot add spaces here. It has to be exact. It has to be just the number. Maybe if it is wrapped in string, it's going to work. So let me comment out. This is how you will refer the first value. So by using 1, I will be able to pick up the second value. And yeah, that's how it works. But what is the use of having an array? So usually you can see that in your pages we have multiple feeds, right? So those feeds are just a common types. Those feeds are going to be of type object, which has certain properties. Let's say you have a Facebook feed or just a YouTube. Yeah, you have a YouTube playlist. In that YouTube playlist, what you'll be seeing is it's let me write a playlist. It's a playlist, and that playlist will be of type array because it's a list. So it's going to have multiple values in it. But that multiple value is not just going to be of a simple type. Where if let's say the playlist has a song, it has song B, song B, and song B. I'm going to go a bit further here. I'm going to pick up this element. Yeah, something here. Playlist. So what I'm doing here is I have a div, and this div is containing a playlist. Let me remove all of these. Yeah, this div is containing ID called as playlist. I'll be able to refer to this by using uh, yeah, yeah, I'll be able to take that element by using element by using document dot get element by ID and put that name in there. So now I have that element. So what I can do is I can do dot element and dot inner text, and I can type. Yeah, I can say playlist of 0. Save it. You can see here we are getting that value which we have here. So I've picked up the first index of this playlist and put that inside that element called as playlist, which we have in HTML, which is grabbed using this get element by ID. So I'm stressing on this name because there are different ways which will help you to identify what that result would look like. So yeah, I will show that in a moment. Here, yeah, I just picked up the first value here. So instead I'm picking up the second value. So now you can see that it says song B because it's of index 1, which refers to this value. So we have multiple values inside this list, so it's referred to as an array. But when you watch YouTube videos, it's not that a single element is going to contain just the name. when you see something in YouTube, it's actually containing multiple options, right? So first, the most basic thing is uh, the thumbnail of that video, and then the name. Then you'll have other things like how many views it has. So those are like not simple things. It cannot be referred by using these simple values. That's where the object comes in. So here I'll be able to create an object like this. So, so what we are doing is, this is an object which we saw here, similar to this. I'm creating an object here, but this is like enclosed by a array. So it is called as array of objects. So array which is containing multiple objects. So what I'm going to do here is, let's say the video name. So I'm going with the same example as the YouTube. This is a playlist. So I'm having a video name here. So let's say, yeah, it is, I'm considering it as a song, and we will have a thumbnail. So thumbnail URL. So basically what we'll have here is a thumbnail in the videos, right? So here we will have some kind of URL like https colon the image. Okay, it is just a dummy thing. So then we'll have, so yeah, we'll have likes. Yeah, 300. So now what this means is, we have this playlist. So this playlist contains one element. So that element is of type object, and this object has three properties, which is the video name, or let's call it as video title, and we have the thumbnail URL and the total likes. So now this means that all of these things inside this object are related. So that's how it works. And I can create another object here. You have to use comma. Okay, I did not say that because it was like too obvious here. Yeah, how you will separate different values is by using comma. So here I have this first object. If I, yeah, I can save it now. Even at the end, if you add another comma, it's going to work. That's not a problem. So when you want to add a new value here, if I add it like this, it's going to throw an error which says comma expected. So you have to separate these values by using comma. I'm saving it. I have two values. Let's do this in likes as 100. I'm saving it. Now we saw that we can refer to any value inside an object by using dot or string notation. So I'm going to pick up the first value here. You can see it's already showing something called as object. That's because previously our value was song A, right? Inside this playlist it was showing song A here, but now it is actually an object. uh, so you cannot directly show the object in the page, because it tries to do something called as converting it into a string form by using a method which is given internally. I'll come to that in a minute. So here what I need is, first I need to show at least this video title. Now what I'm doing here is, I have a playlist. Inside the playlist, I'm picking up the first element by using the 0. Yeah, so inside, so 0 refers to this object. In this object I'm going to show the video title. So once I hit save, yeah, you'll be able to see song A. So now we are referring to this playlist, this object, and picking up the property from the object. So that's how we do it. But yeah, as of now this is not uh, any useful to us, because we are just showing one value here. It does not make any sense. So that's where a loop comes in. A loop is used for going through a set of values which we have. So here we have an array which has multiple values. Or if you want to go through those values in a single like code, in a code piece of code, so here you will be able to refer only one element at a time. So you, it is not possible for you to pick up two values here. So if you need to pick up two values, you have to write another code like this, video title, and you can write one here and save it, and you will be able to see, yeah, it actually took song one plus plus means that it's going to concatenation is process of like combining two things. So here I've combined the first value which is of type string, and second is also of type string. So it just added the strings and made it as a single string. So you can also, this is, yeah, done by using plus. And when I use plus again, and I can add another I'm adding a literal string here instead of picking up from the property inside this object. So it, this also can be of anything. I can put a space here, or anything can be. You can also have characters here. So I'm saving it, and yeah, you can see screen. So but this is not helping us. This is not, we are not going anywhere with this. So that's where we are going to use loops. So loops are written by using either for or while. Yeah, there is one other way which is also similar to for. I will get to that in a minute. So here what we are doing is we have this for. There is a syntax for this for loop, which might look a little similar to if. When I type this, yeah, for has three parts here, which is like separated using a semicolon, and it also has a block to it. So anything under this block is going to be executed when this for is working. So how for works is that first it has a value. It is called the initial value. You might have studied this in, yeah, I think in school itself. So we'll have this initialization. So where you will initialize a specific value, and then you'll give a condition. So we saw that in if control statements where we give a condition, and only if that condition succeeds, it's going to perform that operation. So likewise in loops too, we'll have a condition at the second stage. So that would be like I is just a variable I'm creating here. Let is used for creating a variable, and I'm giving that variable's initial value as 0, because we know that for arrays the first value would be referred using 0. So that's why we are giving it as 0. And then I'm going to give it a condition less than we have two values here, first, yeah, song A and song B, so two objects. So I think it's going to be less than 2, because we have two values. First value is referred by using 0, and second is by 1. So we'll have 0 on 1. There is no need for going further more. So here we can see that I equal to 0 and I less than 2. So which means it will only work for 0 and 1. If it, when it tries to match this condition, it's going to fail. So that's how it works. And here I would specify a statement which defines how this variable I is going to change. So now we have a shorthand for doing this. So I equal to I plus 1. We saw that this is how we will increase the value of I in our previous session. So we also have a shorthand for this, plus equal to 1. So this does the same thing as 20, the statement in this 28th line, where it's going to increase the value of I variable by 1. Okay, just for this case where you're going to increment the value by 1, we have another shorthand called as increment operator. So yeah, so when I put I plus plus, it's going to increment that value. So that's what we are going to use here now, because we have to go through this whole list. I plus plus, yeah. Now here, if I do console.log and uh, refer to this playlist, and here, instead of putting a regular value, I'm going to put I here, because I is something which is going to change every time when it is run. So I'm saving it, and also there is some, yeah, removing this. Yeah, now you can see the first thing which we see is the video title, song A. That is from this playlist. The first value is shown here on top, and the second value is shown on the bottom. That's because this for loop is actually going from